Hi guys, how you doing? So this is just a quick video if you're interested to watch. So obviously today is the 31st of December, New Year's Eve, and yeah, we're approaching 2026 in so here in UK time. Yeah, I would say in I guess six, no wait, 6, 7, in 9 hours we'll approach the New Year's. So what are you doing New Year's Eve? Like, are you working or are you maybe you're an entrepreneur or you're a business owner like me? Um, so what are you up to? So share what are you doing in the comments below, or what did you do in New Year's Eve? Um, Now for me personally, what I'm currently doing, I'm going through the website. I think it's very, very important to always make sure that the website is up to date. And yeah, because the thing is, I see a lot of companies make this mistake where changes happen. So what they usually do, they update their social media. And obviously, everyone is on. Most people is on social media nowadays. So they update something on social media, but they don't update it on their company website. And keep playing with this. Sorry about that. Anyway, so yeah, they keep updating their social media, but they never update their website, and then they find out, oh yeah, we were supposed to update it like 2 or 3 months later. That's an issue. And by the way, I totally understand. If we're talking about um a medium-sized company or a big company, sometimes just people lose track of things. They don't remember everything. Obviously, we're talking about human beings here, so people make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes every day, so that's absolutely fine. It's just I always do my very best to make sure everything is up to date. By the way, if you are interested in seeing what I'm doing, so I'm using Hostinger. So that's the platform I'm using for Risovent website. That's how I created it. It used to be called something else long time ago. I forgot what it was called, but I created this website in 2021, early 2021. I created the Risovent website, and what happened is, if you don't know, and by the way, it's written on the website. If you go to here, if you go to our story, so you will understand how Rise Event started. So yeah, I mean, I started in 2021. I created this website 2021, and it was Rise Event was just a project. It was more like a, yeah, community project thing. I did like a podcast on Spotify. It was just audio, by the way. There was no videos. I think I did only one video podcast. Um, yeah, I mean, it wasn't exactly it wasn't a business, obviously. And it was just a project. It was just an idea that I had. And this was early 2021. I saw how AI will grow and all that stuff, and during that time, I was always thinking, what's going to happen to us? What's going to happen to employees, especially employees? Like, are we going to lose our jobs? I used to think a lot about this, and yeah, and I created the Rise of It podcast because I wanted to speak about this, and that's why I chose, I chose Spotify. Now, if you must know, the person who I'm really grateful for, who inspired me to start this podcast, is I think everyone knows him, Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V. So Gary V inspired me to start this podcast. I think there was a he wrote something on a blog, on a website, and at that time I wanted to start a business. I think I saw a video of him, and he was saying something about a podcast, and then I went to I believe it was a blog written by him, or maybe by someone, but maybe summarized what he said. um I think he mentioned like the steps, how to start a podcast. At that time, I didn't even know how to do podcasts. I didn't even know about the equipments, like nothing really. Um, he did mention Spotify, Anchor at that time, and yeah, so he did really inspire me, like in a positive way, push me to start the podcast and start just talking about Risovent and what it stands for and what kind of skills the employees need in the long run. I think I said something about the type of skills that you need in 2025. So 2025 is almost over. We're approaching 2026, but I think a lot of these things I said a long time ago, it happened, or it's still about to happen. So obviously, I'm positive things here. So yeah, this is how I started the podcast. The Gary V is the one who inspired me and really positively influenced me to start the podcast. And then the podcast itself went on and on. Obviously, I didn't get a lot of viewers back then. I had some viewers, but from many countries. But it was just on Spotify. Like I didn't do a lot of social media. I used to post some stuff, Instagram, TikTok, but I was still new to the game. I didn't understand how all these things work. At that time, I was still an academic. I was a lecturer at the university. Um, so yeah, I mean, until I decided to start a business, to leave academia, not forever, obviously. Maybe one day I'll be back to academia. I mean, I always keep the door open. But for now, I decided to leave academia, start my own company, because I really believe in the mission of Risovent. I really believe in the vision of Risovent and what it stands for and what it's about to become. Um, I will do my best to make it into some kind of a business empire, to make Risovent into a huge thing in the market. I'll do my best, but the most important thing is to try. So if you don't try, you will never know. And I'm in the stage where I'm actually doing well so far in Risovent, and everything is well so far. But obviously, just like any other business, it will take time to grow, and hopefully we're gonna reach even more clients and train more employees. But yeah, that's how it started. Started podcast. Gary V inspired me, and I'm really thankful for him and very grateful for Gary V. And I still listen to his TikTok and sometimes his audio podcast, or podcast in general, or talks. Gary V talk, I think it's called. And yeah, it was a podcast. Got registered as a business in December 2023, and then what happened is I launched all services in January 1st, 2025. So in about 9 hours, it's going to be exactly 1 year since Risovent started operating in the market. So yeah, I mean, yeah, actually, I realized that tomorrow, or sorry, tonight at 12 o'clock midnight, it will be the 1 year anniversary for Risovent. So I can't wait, to be honest, and it's something that I'm very proud of. And so far, what Risovent is standing for, or the services that I'm offering through Risovent, is actually not only meaningful, but I see it um, as tools and practices and training workshops that will reshape and redefine workplace culture, even will change the idea of 9 to 5. So yeah, of course, we can't wait till we start training, employees, and we can't wait till we reach more and more and more clients. So that's what I'm doing actually. So I'm looking at the website, and let's see here. So I'm gonna share my screen. So everything seems to be fine. I'll be honest with you. So if you go here, pricing, so there are certain rules and policies that clients must follow if they're gonna order a workshop from us. If it's online, it's very flexible. If it's face to face, there are some stuff that the client must follow. So if you click download, you can see all these instructions. So if you want to see our story, like I said, our direction, what do we stand for, like what is our identity? Because every company needs an identity. And yeah, I mean, I that's another mistake that I noticed. A lot of startups, what they do, they, especially nowadays, by the way, like a lot of startups, they just oh, sorry, I think I moved my camera by mistake. So, um, yeah, just fixing the camera. Yeah, I mean, a lot of companies, what especially new startups, what they do is that they create software, they create an AI agent, and everyone knows about AI agent, and they create the new AI system, and they do not even take care of their new startup identity, what it stands for. They're like, yeah, it's an AI that does that. Great. I'm not saying that's not good. That's good. And if you sell it to, let's say, 100 or 1,000 clients, awesome. That's amazing. But after you make the money, you need to realize that you're gonna invest some of this money into your startups, which then people will start looking at your startup as, okay, I just bought this or I subscribe to this AI service. But I would like to know what the company stands for. Like, yeah, sure, we make things more efficient for employees. Yeah, that's not good enough, you know. But if your company wants to have a direction, a future, wants to compete with tough rivals in the industry or market, you need to have an identity. So you need to make sure what your company stands for or what your startup stands for. So don't make this mistake, because I actually did this mistake long time ago. When I created the Risovent project, it was just a project, wasn't a business. It didn't really have an identity. I was like, I remember the mission was to change the way people innovate, and that was it. But that's not an identity, you know? Um, but of course, later during the process, I realized that for Risevin, it needs to have an identity. It needs to have a mission, a vision, goals, objectives. Specifically, what kind of skills are we focusing on? You know, specifically, what are our training workshops? What are our services, and so on. So, yeah, I mean, it took me some time, honestly, to think about the identity and so on. And of course, if you know, if it's a startup, it will always take time. But yeah, Risovin is doing great. Everything is fine. And as I said here, I'm just checking some of the stuff here. So everything seems fine, to be honest. So this is the actual website. Oh, this is the uh, hostinger. So let me just open it. I always keep ChatGPT on the side. Yeah, but I'm not gonna use it now. So yeah, so this is Hostinger. So I'm just gonna go through some stuff. So let me see if the link is working. Um, so Risevent does have an online store, and we are on Gumroad. Let me see if the link is working. So if I click here on preview, browse now. Yeah, so the link is working. Everything seems fine. So if you want to check out our online store, I mean, at the moment we have only 4 digital products. Yeah, so we have just 4 digital products. So these are training outline plans. So if I click on entrepreneurial intentions, so what you're gonna get is an outline plan, not the full course or full workshop or training workshop. It's just an outline plan. And yeah, it's more like a blueprint. It does contain all these sections, and it's just a blueprint, really. It's just to help you build up uh, entrepreneurial intentions workshop from scratch. It's a guideline, it's a blueprint, it's an outline plan, but it has interesting details that will, I'm sure it will help you to build your workshop about entrepreneurial intentions. I mean, you could deliver this workshop to your employees, you know, or to a class or something. So, and I'm selling it for £10. So I made sure that it's not really expensive. Um, I think I've seen some other blueprints. They usually charge more money. So that's why I said £10, UK pounds. I thought it's a reasonable price to make sure everyone can afford it. Because I want to make sure everyone will have access to workshops and training materials and so on. So yeah, so the link seems fine, seems working fine here. You know, one of the pages that I always double check is the FAQ. because yeah, I always want to make sure that the information is very clear on this page. Um, so I'm just doing a quick scan really. So everything seems fine here. Minimum booking requirements, no. Click here to view the full pricing structure and booking policy. Yeah, that's so it has so if it's face to face, it has a specific policy, and there's no minimum booking. That's great. Can I request or actually I'm just gonna keep it on on the other screen. Can I request a Risovent? I request Risovent to design a training workshop without delivery. Like I said, yes, we can design it, and we supply you with the training materials and contents and slides and templates and everything based on what you want, and you or your team or the trainers that you sign the contract with or anyone in your company will take care of the delivering it to your employees, to train your employees. But they will use Risovent materials and training. Can I cancel the service anytime? Yes, you can cancel. You have 14 days to cancel. Oh, sorry, let me share the screen. You have 14 days to cancel after signing the contract. Of course, our policy is 14 days, but as a company, we do understand that sometimes circumstances changes. So even after 14 days, maybe something happened maybe with your company that maybe you're like, you know what, we can't do this training anymore. That's fine, but you need to explain the reason to us. But for whatever reason, after signing the contract as a company. So by the way, as I said, Risovent at the moment, it's for companies and universities. So we train employees, and I said this in the second podcast episode. So we train employees in corporates, in small, medium, big size companies. We also train university professors, lecturers, assistant professors, associate professors, and so on. We train staff members at the university as well, or sometimes we train the trainer or train the teacher or train the tutor or train the mentor or the coach and so on. So we do that. So at the moment, Risovent trains employees, full-time employees or part-time employees at companies, whether they are in the UK or Europe or outside the UK or Europe. And yeah, we also train staff who works at educational institutes or universities. And when I say educational institutes and universities, so educational institutes could be colleges or universities. So yeah, and can I visit you? Of course you can, but I mean, we are located in Southampton in the UK. Well, let me share the screen. But all our meetings are online. So if you want to meet us, it's always online because I want to make sure Risovent is always online. But of course, if you want to set up a face-to-face meeting, maybe you would like to see me face-to-face. I'm the one who you're gonna meet. We are located here as per this address. So we are in Southampton in the United Kingdom. And if you want to schedule a meeting, an online meeting, just you can book now, and just I'm happy to meet with you and to discuss what kind of services, what kind of Risovent services do you want. Yeah, so everything seems fine here. If you would like to know more about other stuff, you can always contact us. All right. And yeah, contact@risovent.com, or you can just simply fill this form. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing, to be honest. But this was just a quick video. Obviously, I'm not just working for 20 minutes or 25 minutes and so on. So I'm working all day. And I usually, if I have to be honest, I mean, I don't really celebrate New Year's. To me, it's just another year. 2025, 2026. I don't see it as a checkpoint where it's like yeah, 2025, what did you do? Like I don't think of it this way. I just keep working. I just keep on focusing, trying to build my company, focus on other personal stuff as well, and that's it really. Yeah, it's just I just keep moving forward, keep working hard, and that's it. But yeah, even today is New Year's Eve. I just yeah, I usually don't celebrate New Year's Eve, so I make sure that I continue working, and I make sure that the company is in good shape and everything is in line, and everything is up to date. Yeah, so you can share with me in the comments below. So what did you do at in New Year's Eve? Um, and yeah, I'm looking forward to read your comments on YouTube. And yeah, maybe if you would like to see more of this content, maybe not a podcast, maybe just a update, like some kind of a behind the scenes, like this one. So this was like a quick behind the scenes, like what I'm doing. Like at the moment, as I said, I'm just checking the website, see if everything is up to date, really. And later, I'm gonna work on other stuff. I'm gonna have to edit the second podcast episode. I'll try to upload it either today or tomorrow morning, maybe on January 1st, as a some kind of a celebration of Risovent's anniversary or something. So we'll see. Yeah, so I'm gonna continue work today. And let me see if yeah, so everything seems fine. Anyway, if you would like more of this content, like I said, please let me know in the comments below, and I'm happy to share more behind the scenes content. Maybe just, of course, stuff related to Risovent, since everything's about Risovent and it's about the business. And by the way, one last thing I wanted to say. I know a lot of people I mean, I always say Risovent. Some people pronounce it as Risovent. So I always say Risovent. And the reason why I say Risovent, not Risovent, like most people, they say Risovent. When Risovent was just a project and it was just a podcast, it was called Rise to Invent. Okay. So Rise to Invent. Because I started thinking, I'm like, okay, if AI is going to take over, the one thing an AI cannot do is inventing. So human beings, like invention is a thing related to human beings. So I was like, yeah, Rise to Invent. That's how I thought about it. Like, it didn't take me a lot of time. But when I registered the business, what happened is Rise to Invent, I just like removed some letters and I compressed it and it became Risovent. So when I say Risovent, is rise. Risovent, rise to invent. But I understand some people, they call it Risovent, because if it's Risovent, it's Riz to invent. It's something like that, which doesn't work really. So the way I pronounce it is derived like from the original way of the original name of Risovent, which is Rise to Invent. Yeah, I mean, of course, I have much more details to share with you about Risovent and some other stuff related to the company behind the scenes, and some more content. So, like I said, if you would like to see more of this, please let me know. If you are celebrating New Year, I hope you have a good time. If you did celebrate, I hope you enjoyed your time, and I hope you had a great day. I'll see you next time, maybe with another behind the scenes content, or I might even do a third podcast episode where I'm gonna talk about something completely new, something hopefully interesting. Yeah, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you soon.